What's up and welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to be answering some of your questions. As always, if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer in the next installment of this series, let me know down below in the comment section of this video and I'll try my best to get to them in the next episode. But without further ado, let's get right on into this video. Our first question for today comes from Mark, and they ask, do I think there's a chance for a Jango Microfighter? And I'm assuming you mean like a Jango Fetts Slave 1 Microfighter. And I do think that there actually is a chance. I know that's something that some people might not want to hear, but especially with the UCS Slave 1 coming out, Jango Fetts Slave 1, there is a potential chance that they do make a Microfighter in the future. Now, I don't think that they'll do the same route of what they did with Captain Rex's Y-Wing and, put the same fig in the Microfighter, because I think they did get a lot of backlash with that. However, I do think the Microfighter is selling very well, so they might, but I don't think that it would be a likely thing for them to do, but I definitely wouldn't count it out as a possibility. I think they are kind of stepping a little bit away from Microfighters, just looking at the sets that are coming up for 2025. So I'm not sure. I think if they were to continue doing Microfighters, it is definitely something that would be on their plate to do. However, I don't expect that it would be something that they would really do willingly compared to some of the other sets out there that they could turn into Microfighters. Our next question comes from Hedgehog Gamer, and they ask, what do I think would be more likely to happen, a UCS Juggernaut or a UCS ATTE? And I think either of these would be great options for LEGO. I have no doubt that they would sell, but personally, I'm probably leaning toward the UCS Juggernaut. Not only do I think that that would warrant a UCS set better, just given how big it would have to be and all of that, I feel like an ATTE would be kind of hard for LEGO to make at a UCS scale, just given the legs. You'd have to support it with these 6 legs and also just the overall shaping. I feel like a Juggernaut would just be easier. I feel like a Juggernaut would just be cooler to get in UCS form. I don't know. I know the ATTE is very iconic and it would be sick to get as a UCS set, don't get me wrong, but I feel like the Juggernaut might just be a little bit more interesting to see, and there's just a ton of stuff that they could do regarding the interior, the huge wheels. I just think it would look really cool, and I feel like it's probably more likely that we would get the Juggernaut over the ATTE, but I would definitely love to see either of them be made in the future. J-Wolf Plays Games asks, do I think that LEGO will ever make a Captain Fordo from the 2003 Clone Wars series? And I really hope that they do. However, it doesn't look insanely likely, unfortunately. That there's so many opportunities for figures and sets that they could make from the 2003 Clone Wars series, but it just doesn't look likely given that it's kind of niche in the Star Wars community. Like, I know a lot of people love that show, but it doesn't necessarily appeal to the overall fans when they could be making sets for some of the bigger shows out there, the bigger movies that everyone does really like more than the 2003 Clone Wars series. However, I would love to see it. I think the ones that they did make, the Anakin Starfighter, was really, really cool, and I feel like there's just a bunch of untapped potential that they have not gotten into with the 2003 Clone Wars series. So I think Fordo would be super cool to see. I think ways that we could see him if they do end up making sets, I think just a hands down, anything like Muunilinst 10 related would be cool, like a gunship, or I don't know, just some of the other vehicles, or if they do like a playset or something, or even if they brought back the clone Blista packs, they could do something with Fordo and then 2 other of his men, would also be super cool. However, I doubt that would happen. Or even just throw him in a polybag or a promo or something in the future. I feel like if we were to get it, we'd either get like a one-off 2003 Clone Wars set, like whether that be the gunship or just some random other set, or we'll get them in some sort of promo, or if they do like another anniversary line of figures, we might also be able to get them in that. Blaze asks, what is my favorite set coming out in 2025? And I think there's kind of a few contenders here, but I think the 2 at the top of my list are going to be the UCS Jango Fetts Slave 1 and the ARC 170. I think they're both really, really cool, and I'm very excited to see them once official things get leaked. I mean, the ARC 170 is going to be coming out a lot sooner than the Slave 1, so we'll be able to see that first, but I think either of those are probably the 2 that I'm most excited for / my favorite as of right now. Mr. Vanderlind asks, what do I think about printed waist capes and helmet holes? Now, overall, I know that there's a lot of split in the community here, but I'll try and keep this quick because I probably could rant about this for a while. I think the biggest issue with the helmet holes is just that they're in the wrong spot. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think helmet holes are fine in the idea of them. I really like to have the helmet holes because you actually get the opportunity to attach different helmet attachments, which is a lot of fun, and it's like one of the main draws of LEGO, being the customized stuff. So overall, I don't really have a big issue with the helmet holes. I just wish it was in the right spot so it looks correct, but I'm hoping that that's something that they do fix, because when you look at the Phase 1 Clone Troopers, they have it perfect. If they just did that with the Phase 2 Clone Troopers, it would not be an issue. But what I think is an issue is the printed waist capes. They look really, really bad in my opinion. I just think it's only really printing on those front parts of the hips, and then just going all the way around, it's just blank. So looking at it from any other angle, it just looks bad. And it's not like the cloth wastegapes were hard for LEGO to do. They just took them out because I don't really know why, but I mean, there's a ton of reasons that I could speculate, but I won't get into that here. But I think the bigger issue of the two, in my opinion, is the wastegapes. I think the printed wastegapes just look worse. I'd honestly rather them just not put the wastegapes on at all if they weren't going to include them in the set. But I really do hope that they also fix the helmet holes, because I think it has the potential to be really, really good if they just put them in the correct spot. World Class Deer Hunter asked, what do I think about a UCS Citadel Lego set? And thank you for the kind words after that. But as for the UCS Citadel set, I think it could be really, really cool. I think the Citadel is actually just such a cool structure, and that whole arc about the Citadel was very good and interesting too. However, well, first, I don't know if it would be a UCS set. I would like to see it, honestly, a play set in the $160 mark, maybe at the size of the Yavin 4 could be really cool, or a Master Builder series could also be cool. But overall, I think it would be very interesting to see. I don't know if LEGO would necessarily go for something like that, given it is kind of niche. Also, you know, it was from the Clone Wars a bit ago. I forget what season that was in. I think it was 4 or 3, but correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But I think it could be really, really cool. There's kind of cool stuff that they could do, as well as a ton of really cool minifigures that they could include that we have not seen yet. But honestly, either way, if we were to get it, whether it be a playset or a UCS or a Master Builder series, I would love to see it. I think there's a ton of potential with that idea, and I hope that LEGO does do that in the future. Annexes asks, aside from a Duel on Mustafar set, what do I think is the most likely set to be made in 2025 that we haven't heard about yet? And I did just do a video going through all of like the leaks and rumors that we have, but I think some of the things that are missing from there are just more Revenge of the Sith themed sets, as it is the anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. Now, I didn't expect them to do like a whole wave or anything, but we only have a few, which is I'm very happy about. But I feel like if we were to get some more sets, it would be Revenge of the Sith related. And I think a big one missing is going to be a Palpatine's Arrest. Fans have been asking for a remake on that set for so long. Now, it does unfortunately look like there won't be any dioramas unless, you know, the dioramas are there and just haven't been leaked yet. So I think most likely, or at least a set that I would love to see, would be an updated version of Palpatine's Arrest. And if I had to guess, that's probably potentially what we would get. I don't know what we would necessarily get in its place other than some of the other random sets that we could get, or for other themes, like if we get more sets for Andor Season 2, which is coming out this year, or just other sets based on some other things. But if I had to guess, I would say a Palpatine's Arrest set is way overdue. The Brick Legion YT asks, what are my thoughts on getting any 212th LEGO sets, as well as a Captain Fordo? And like I was saying earlier about Fordo, I would love to see Fordo in any of those ways that I mentioned, or, you know, any other ways that we could potentially get Fordo or anything from the 2003 Clone Wars series. But as for 212th sets, I think it's definitely likely. Now that they have the 212th made, I'm sure they're going to try and put it into something else. I'm still waiting with my fingers crossed for a 212th battle pack. I would love that. It would just make it easier to get the 212th Clone Troopers, because they only came out in the ATTE as well as the little foil pack, which isn't available in America, so it's kind of hard to get your hands on. But I think honestly, just a battle pack would be really, really cool. A very, very good thing for us to get the 212th in. Or if they do like another large scale clone set, I wouldn't be surprised if they put the 212th in it as well. As the 212th, you know, they're already made. They don't have to do any work. They just have to throw them on into the set. But I do think it's likely that we do see the 212th come again soon in the future. Sirimal asked what was my favorite 2024 set, and I think I'd have to go with the Imperial Star Destroyer. I think it was really, really good. I think the Cal Kestis minifigure was really nice, and just overall, very solid set. I was looking through the list of sets for 2024 when going through to answer this question, and it kind of stuck out to me. I wasn't a huge fan of all the sets that we got in 2024, but I mean, not that they were bad, it's just I feel like a lot of them weren't really for me. But if you guys would be interested, I would love to do a ranking video on all of the 2024 sets, so if that's something that you'd be interested, let me know in the comments and I will do that, because, you know, 2024 is almost over. We're about to get our next wave. It's going to be in 2025. So I figured it could be a fun video to make. But yeah, I think overall my favorite set that we got was probably the Imperial Star Destroyer. Alice asks, what is a Lego fig that I want Lego to make? And I may sound like a broken record, but I think Phase 2 Wolf, I need a Phase 2 Wolf. I've been waiting to get one for so long. Commander Wolf is one of my favorite clone troopers and one of my favorite characters in Star Wars altogether, and I would just love to see him get that Phase 2 adaptation, because I think the Phase 1 version is super, super sick, and there is a potential that we do get him next year, which I'm very excited for, with the Plo Koon's Jedi Starfighter that is leaked and rumored is supposed to have a third unknown minifig, which would be the perfect spot for us to get the Phase 2 Commander Wolf. So I'm really hoping that we get him. There's a ton of of other ones that I would like to see as well, but right now I think Phase 2 Commander Wolf is at the top of my list. Weird memes as do I think that they will make a UCS Malevolence, and I don't know if they will. I feel like it would be very, very cool to get a UCS droid themed ship, because I'm like pretty sure that we've never gotten one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident that we have not gotten any like big droid themed ship, and I think there's so many cool options for us to get. I think some of the droid capital ships and just other stuff like that are very cool and very well designed and would perfectly warrant a UCS ship, but honestly, I don't think the Malevolence would be the first thing that they would make. I feel like the Invisible Hand or some of the other command ships would be what they would make before the Malevolence. But I think the most ideal way for us to get it would be in the midi scale. They've been doing a lot of midi scale sets recently, and I feel like the Malevolence would be a very good option for them to do. I think it would look really, really cool, and I'd be very happy to see that one. But I'm not really sure. I know we got it in the play scale variant a while ago, and I think that's a really cool set, but I wouldn't write it off as becoming a UCS set at some point in the future. However, I don't think that it is very likely. Max Shanira asked, if I were to build a clone army, should I go for quality or quantity? Of course, the better clone troopers cost more, but if I want a big army, you should just go for the cheap ones, right? And I think this really just depends on what kind of army you want. Of course, you can just buy a ton of the cheapest clone trooper and have a huge army, but there's also those cooler clone troopers, like you mentioned, the rarer ones that cost a lot more than just those normal grunts that, you know, might add quite a bit to your army. And I think it really just depends on what kind of army do you want. If you want sheer numbers, then yeah, for sure the best way to do it is to just go out and buy the cheapest possible clone troopers and get as many of them as you can. But if you want a more rounded out and more, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing army maybe, or depending on who you're asking, you might want to look to get some of those rarer, cooler clone troopers, as you were mentioning, and kind of round out your army. That's what I've been trying to do, because for the most part, my army is pretty much mostly just the Phase 2 grunts, as well as a ton of the Phase 2 501st clone troopers, and I came to the realization that I don't really just want a ton of the same clone trooper, so I've been selling them off so I could get some of those cooler, rarer clone troopers to put in my army as well. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to what kind of army you want. If your main goal is just to get as many clones as you possibly can, then definitely just get the cheapest ones. But if you want more of a rounded out, cooler like collection of an army, then definitely go for some of those higher end and rarer minifigures. Brickboy301 asks, should you buy a Palpatine's Arrest now or wait for the new one to come out? And I'm not really sure. I think it's very, very risky to wait for a new one to come out regarding the fact that there's no confirmation that we will get one. However, it's also very risky to buy a Palpatine's Arrest now and, you know, risk the bear of having a new one come out and then not, you know, it going down in value and you losing your money when you could have just gotten the new one that comes out. So overall, I feel like it's up to you. If you really, really want the Palpatine's Arrest, if it's a huge set that you've been waiting to get, that you've wanted to get for a long time now, then just pull the trigger, just buy it. That's what I did a while ago, and I do not regret it. It's still probably my favorite set in my collection. But if you do want to wait, if you don't want to spend that money on it, then you can wait and see if it's going to come out. Now, it's not like it actually is going to plummet in price if a new one comes out. Yes, it'll probably take some sort of hit, but it's such an iconic set, and it's not like they're going to remake it the same as this one. So overall, I think there will still be a market for the old one, even if a new, better one comes out. But it really just comes up to you. If you want one, you want to buy it now, you want to have it in your collection, then I say go for it. But if you're kind of on the fence, then I say I would definitely wait for a new one to come out. But there is no guarantee that a new one will come out anytime soon, and the old one is just going to keep going up in value. And that does it for this video. Thank you for everyone who asked a question, as well as everyone for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer in the next installment of this series, leave them down below in the comment section, and I will try my best to get to them in the next installment. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew, signing out.